Here's why your annual strategic plan is already failing. It's based on assumptions, not adaptability. In a market where conditions shift quickly, a plan made 12 months ago can become irrelevant in a matter of weeks. The fastest growing companies don't wait a full year to course correct. They check their direction every 90 days. This approach creates what John Doerr describes as a regular review rhythm, ensuring teams stay aligned and responsive. I'll break down Doerr's four-quadrant checklist that helps organizations remain both focused and flexible. Here's how to keep your strategy adaptable. But before you put OKRs into action, it's important to understand why the right foundation matters. If you're new here, please subscribe and like, because I share tips to help you improve your career. OKRs are powerful, but they're not a cure-all for deeper organizational problems. Many leaders hope that setting clear objectives and measurable results will drive performance, but the reality is more complex. OKRs tend to amplify whatever culture and leadership dynamics already exist within a team. If trust and cooperation are lacking, the framework can actually accelerate dysfunction rather than resolve it. Simon Sinek points out that teams suffer when high performers erode trust, what he refers to as toxic leaders, or those who deliver results at the expense of morale. These individuals may hit their targets, but they leave behind a trail of disengagement and turnover. For example, a sales team might exceed its quarterly goals through aggressive tactics, only to see client relationships and team cohesion deteriorate in the long run. When leaders prioritize short-term wins over people, OKRs become another tool for pressure, not progress. This dynamic plays out in countless organizations. OKRs magnify both strengths and weaknesses. Teams with psychological safety and strong peer feedback norms are more likely to share knowledge, support each other, and sustain improvements over time. In contrast, teams where knowledge hoarding is common often waste effort on redundant work, achieving metrics, but failing to build lasting capability. The lesson is clear: the underlying culture determines whether OKRs drive growth or simply reveal misalignment. Consider the case of Southwest Airlines. Their objective to maintain the lowest costs succeeded because it fit a culture where flight crews willingly pitched into clean planes between flights. The shared mindset supported the objective, making it achievable and sustainable. Without that foundation, the same OKR would have created stress and shortcuts, not lasting results. Before adopting OKRs, it's essential to examine your team's foundations. Evaluate psychological safety, leadership behaviors, and whether your managers encourage or discourage risk-taking. These elements shape how OKRs function in practice. With this understanding, you can avoid the trap of complexity and set the stage for focused, effective execution. If you're finding this helpful, please subscribe and like, because it helps us create content that matters to you. Also, if you want to take your skills further, check out our executive education and executive coaching programs at execbeat.com. To drive effective execution, leaders need a blueprint that strips away complexity and enforces clarity. Sarah Glover's TEDx talk on the power of a single-page plan illustrates this point. Her approach distills strategy into three essential parts: a specific, measurable goal, a handful of prioritized milestones, and a clear sense of community or shared commitment. This structure prevents teams from getting lost in theory, forcing them to focus on what truly matters each quarter. Research and experience show that when teams try to tackle too many objectives at once, progress stalls. Google's early OKR system addressed this by capping each team's objectives at 3 to 5 per quarter. This radical simplicity wasn't just about limiting scope, it created discipline. When YouTube reduced its objectives from 12 to 4, completion rates soared from 30% to 82% in just 2 quarters. The act of trimming forced teams to debate priorities, clarify intent, and align on what would actually move the needle. Chuck Wachendorfer's acid test brings this discipline into daily behavior. He shares the story of running a marathon not by aiming for a dramatic change, but by making small, consistent adjustments, slowing his pace marginally to ensure he could finish. The test is simple. Are you able and willing to do what's required every day? This principle applies to OKRs. It's not enough to set bold objectives. You need to translate them into clear, repeatable actions that everyone can execute. Bono's One campaign demonstrates the power of this approach. Their entire OKR fit on a note card. One objective: eradicate extreme poverty, supported by 3 key results. Inspired by this, a non-profit condensed its 23-page strategic plan to a single card, which made board meetings more effective by focusing every discussion on measurable progress. Jim Rohn's discipline principle: what's simple is easy. What's easy is consistent. What's consistent is effective anchors this method. When teams compress their goals to a single page, they surface misalignment early and create a shared focus. Cognitive science supports this. Most people can track only about 4 priorities at once. A single page acts as a forcing function, making daily discipline possible and progress visible. The real test of this approach comes when you track progress in real time, not just at the finish line. Momentum matters more than isolated wins. Sundar Pichai's leadership with Chrome shows how OKRs drive progress when you set ambitious annual user targets, but track key metrics weekly. This allowed Google to make rapid adjustments, steadily building adoption over time. For your team, start by applying the single-page method with just one clear objective. You'll notice that when key results remain visible, meetings get shorter and decisions come faster. The most effective OKRs push you just beyond your comfort zone. One logistics team set a 20% delivery speed target when 10% felt safe and reached 18%. Now, jot down one bold stretch you've delayed in a daily habit to support it. Then review it next week. Share in the comments one OKR you'll compress to a single page, or a stretch target you'll set for the next 90 days. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like, because it helps us bring you more free videos. And if you're ready to grow your career, visit execbeat.com to learn about our executive education and coaching.